Hey, welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Videos, where we talk about all things comic related and movie related and movies about comics, but mostly about comics. Today I'm doing a follow-up. I did a top 10 Superman cover episode, I guess a month or so ago, and in it, if you recall, I had kind of a placeholder as number one because I couldn't find the issues of action in that run around when that top cover I picked was, and so it was kind of holding a place for the other covers. Well, guess what? I found them. So I have them today, and we're going to go over a few of those, as well as a couple of covers that didn't quite make my list. Stick around to the end of the video, because I'm going to have, like I say, what would replace that placeholder as my favorite Superman cover of all time. I would love it if you hit the like button. If you want the content, if you want to wait till the end of the video, that'll work. If you want to decide whether or not you like the video, I hope you do. So with no further ado, let's get right into it. Here's one that was a close close to getting honorable mention, but didn't quite. This is Superman number 25, obviously after the renumbering of the book. After Byrne took over. This is by Roger Stern and Kerry Gamble. Just a super awkward cover. I mean, this looks, this is not a good thing here. Superman, we can see the symbol on his chest. I don't know if the rest of the newsroom can. I don't believe they can. It's been a while since I read the book. But Lois obviously is falling in front of him there, and he's like, Lois, I didn't mean to lose control. That's just a very striking image. And if I was doing my top 15 or top 20 Superman covers, that might be in it. Another one, in looking for those action comics that in that run I couldn't find for the earlier video, I came across this issue of Superman. This is Superman 416. And the reason I'm showing it here is because in that previous video, I think I mentioned I seem to have a penchant for collecting Superman Fortress of Solitude giant key covers. Not key books necessarily, but just the big key on the cover. So I'm assuming that's why I picked that up back in the day. It says Ghost of Superman Future as opposed to Past, with the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol connection there. But again, it's got that giant key arrow in it, just like the two I have over here beside me. The one in the corner is the first appearance of the Fortress of Solitude, which I didn't realize when I picked it up. And then, of course, this one next to it is from a few years later. The original one, I think, there is 241 action. And the other one, I'm going from memory here, I want to say 411, somewhere in there. So many, many years between those books. But I just kind of like the fact that here we've got one more in the Superman giant key covers. I don't know that it's a trilogy, and there may be more out there, but if you run across one, let me know. Maybe put a link in the comments or something below. Would love to hear if there are more giant key covers out there that I'm missing with Superman. Next up is the one that I had as my number one favorite Superman cover in that top 10 list. And really it was just a placeholder for this whole run, the very Norman Rockwell looking covers here. There's usually something going on in the background. Superman's going, it's a perplexing cover like a lot of the covers in the Silver Age were, where it's like, wait a minute, if that's Superman stopping that robbery, who am I? Which is just a bizarre conundrum for our hero. He doesn't think, well, wait, who is that in the Superman suit? He's having a bit of a self existential crisis. So I feel like most of us would say, who's the imposter lifting the car, as opposed to, wow, if that's me, who am I? So I don't know. Maybe Superman needs some super therapy there. But this one, it was holding a place for a number of books I'm going to show here right now from this incredible action run that ran around from actually not long after 411 behind me here, up through about 420 something. Oh, but first, a cover that reminds me of a lot of those books. This is Superman 287. And it's that same thing where something's going on in the foreground and then there's something else going on in the background, like through a window. You'll see that for a lot of these. Terrible color breaks there on the side there, but I probably bought this one off the stands as a kid and read it as a kid. But yeah, everybody loves Crypto. This is a job for Superdog. And you can see Crypto. This apparently is Krypton's Crypto's first return to the book in years. I did not look up what was his last appearance. I don't, I'm guessing, maybe he hadn't shown up much in the 60s. This is an early 70s book since it's a 25 center, or early to mid 70s. The other thing that jumped out at me was that line at the bottom. Who was that dog I saw you with last night? I don't know. That's an odd statement. And sure enough, there are quotes on it, and I can confirm, having just reread this book, that is a line in the book. Superman is actually asking Krypto that at some point. It's a little weird. I don't think I'm spoiling too much. It's a good, fun story. Very much a 70s Superman story. But in it, Krypto, finds a lady. And this little dog that he finds, I'll be polite there. I mean, she's a nice dog. But at the end of the book, and this isn't necessarily a major plot point, so I don't feel like it's a spoiler. If you don't want to be spoiled entirely for this book, then skip over about 20 or 30 seconds here. But the owner of the other dog tries to have Krypto and his dog hook up. I mean, basically like a breeding thing. They're just like, hey, they like each other, and here are the dog's papers, but the other dog it says no because she's a little freaked out by the fact that Krypto can fly. So, but just a neat, fun book, and the fact that it's a return of Krypto, I think that's just really cool. And so, but that image though, see the way that cover's constructed with Superman in the foreground and Krypto through the window. A lot of these books that I found in this action run are very similar to that, and you'll see as we go forward. All right, here we go. Action number 418. Who can beat Superman? Well, more Supermen. I'm gonna guess that's a Nick Cardy cover. Guy is such an amazing artist. It kind of has that feel about it, but it's just great. All these Supermen fighting on the cover. Metamorpho obviously is in the book as well. You'll see. I think he's a backup in most of these. But I just love that. The yellow in the background jumps out. That red banner. All the blue and red and yellow with the Superman, just a really neat cover. So that would probably have made my list, certainly honorable mention if I'd had it at the time, because again, a lot of this channel is about what I can lay my hands on in my collection. Another one where you're in the apartment and something's going on outside the window. I love these covers because they just, a good cover should tell a story, and these do. It does look like Human Target is taking over Metamorpho's spot at this point. This is issue 422. But the kid's here. It's the kid who's never left his room since the day he was born. Is what it says down at the bottom. But he's going, gee, Superman, if only you were real. You could get me out of this room. But it's no use. You're just make-believe. And then, you can see, obviously, he's got the huge Superman poster and all of his Superman gear there and merchandise. And then you see outside the window, Superman actually flying by. So it's a bit of an ironic cover there. But just like a lot of these in that run, tells a really great story. This one is, the closest thing to it's a bird, it's a plane, is also the cliche, this is a job for Superman. So you can see here in number 426 of Action, Green Arrow and Human Target are backing up. I guess Metamorpho is out of the book at this point. This is a job for Superman, so Clark's right there, and he's doing the quick change to go save this airplane that's falling towards those people below. So this is a job for Superman, and just the action there. Again, very much left to right, like the other ones here, where your attention moves across the page. I think we've got the Spirit and Will Eisner to thank for that. But left to right, the way your eyes just move across that page with the motion there of Superman heading off to save the plane in the distance in the background. So one more to go. This is the one that would probably be this was the one I think I'd pick as my number one if I could have laid my hands on it a few weeks ago. So let's what are we, retroactive? We're going to do a retcon here, right? Isn't that what we call it in comics? So I'm going to retcon my own list here with Action Comics number 425. And it's nothing super spectacular about this cover. I just love the way it tells a story. I mean, you've got these people on the steps outside an apartment building. The kid there on the blonde kid on the steps is reading an issue of Action, and I don't know if it's supposed to be the comic, or it looks more like a magazine size book, magazine that he's reading, or periodical that he's reading. The lady up in the window, this is like something right out of the 70s, a street scene where there's the lady, probably yelling at the kids, or at least, just watching them play. And then the little kid, the little guy in the Superman shirt with his dog, trying to get the attention of the older kids to show them, there's goes Superman flying off in the distance. And again, you've got that left to right, the way it draws you up to the action, the yellow background, which was which just sets off everything else. I just love the story that this cover tells. Here's a kid, obviously he's all about Superman. He's wearing the shirt, and the other kids are reading about, their hero, and the kid and the dog get to get a glimpse of it in the background. So for me, I know it's not action packed, but I just love that Rockwell look of this run of covers. Just great. And again, I guess it's my list. Your mileage may vary. Let me know in the comments what you think now that I've uncovered these. That is it for this episode of Heroes and Videos. Please subscribe to the channel. And as always, keep reading comics, keep going to see movies. Speaking of which, Superman is on DVD September 23rd, which is still in the future. Recording videos is a little weird, so I think unless you're watching this after that, Superman is out on September 23rd on, I believe, 4K DVD and all that stuff. It's on digital now if you want to rent it. I'm kind of a hard copy kind of guy, so I like to have the plastic or whatever Blu-rays and 4Ks are made out of. But again, go see it. If you haven't seen it already, it's something else. I'm going to re-record my review of it because I think the sound was a little messed up. So once I see it again, I'll do another review of it, because just an incredible film. I loved it. You will laugh, you will cry, all of that stuff. It's got the feels. And that I guess is part of my closing. So remember, keep reading comics, keep going to see movies, and be kind to each other.